May we call this meeting to order? And first of all, we'll appreciate all of you coming first, and glad to see you, and including you, Dave. And we'll ask Buddy if he'll lead us in a word of prayer as we stand. Thank you. There's something, I don't know what it is. So we'll ask Burton if he will come forward as we read this. I'll let you hold this while we read it. Whereas the town of Surf City, North Carolina is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living and visiting into Surf City. And whereas fire is a serious public safety concern, both locally and nationally, homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire. And whereas home fires kill more than 2,770 people in the United States in 2019. According to the National Fire Protection Association. And fire departments in the United States respond to 361,000 home fires. And whereas cooking is the leading cause of home fires in the United States, where fire departments respond to more than 172,900 annually between 2014 and 2018. Whereas 2 of every 5 home fires start in the kitchen, with 31% of these fires resulting from unattended cooking. And whereas children under 5 face a higher risk of non-fire burns associated with cooking than being burnt in a cooking fire. Whereas Surf City's residents should stay in the kitchen while frying food on the stovetop, keep at a 3-foot kid-free zone around cooking areas, and keep anything that can catch on fire away from the stovetops. And whereas residents who have planned and practiced at home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. Whereas working smoke fire alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires in half. Whereas Surf City's first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas Surf City's residents are responsive to the public education measures and can take personal steps to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes. Whereas in 2021 Fire Prevention Week theme, Learn the Sounds of Fire Safety, effective series to remind us to stay alert and familiar with sounds of our smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. Therefore, I, Douglas C. Medlin, Mayor of Surf City, do hereby proclaim October the 3rd through the 9th, 2021 as Fire Prevention Week throughout Surf City. I urge all the people of Surf City be checking their kitchens for fire hazards and using safe cooking practices during Fire Prevention Week 2021, and to support many public safety activities and efforts of the Surf City's fire and education services. And our fire department does do a good job. They quite often have things that they hand out, and they talk to different organizations about fire safety, and they present different things that are help with the fire safety. And you know, one thing that it said was that cooking meals in the home caused a lot of the fires, and so my wife is trying to work with you and doing her best. She doesn't like to cook at home. She'd rather go out and eat. So that helps prevent a lot of fires. So anyway, Burton, we appreciate your work and all the rest of your firemen's work. They do a fine job. So, you got anything you want to say? Go ahead and say what you want to say. Well, he didn't have anything to say. Now, Burton's always got something to say. But we appreciate it, Burton, sure do, and appreciate the whole fire department and all the work that they do. You know, I think we've all seen them in action, and they do a fine job. They sure do. Let's see, where was it? I got another paper here, yep. Here's a letter that we got from the North Carolina Division of Parks and Recreation, and from Governor Roy Cooper and Secretary Reed Wilson. And it's addressed to me, but it's to the whole town. North Carolina State Liaison Officer, I am pleased to announce that you and the citizens of the town of Surf City were recommended to receive a grant from the Federal Land and Water Conservation Fund. Thank you for your efforts to make your community, as well as North Carolina, a better place to live. Parks and Recreation provide many benefits for our citizens, from better health to cleaner air and water. After completing a final application and conditional approval for development of the National Parks and Service, and the town of Surf City has received a grant for $500,000 to fund acquisition of development of the Mainland Park project. The grant period began June the 30th, 2020 for the acquisition portion of the project. Staff from the North Carolina Parks and Recreation Division will be sending additional details, information needed before you can proceed with your project. We're excited at the potential of this project and look forward to working with you to make these resources available to our community. Congratulations, sincerely, Dwayne Peterson. Of course, this has a carbon copy going to Chad and Brittany, the original consultant. And Chad's, well, everybody knows you ain't got to stand up, but anyway, we definitely want to thank Chad and his whole staff, and Buddy, who is the liaison to Parks and Recreation, because we're talking about this $500 grant here, but that's only one grant that of two grants that he got this past week and a half or something like that. So he got $1 million worth of grants right lately. And so I think that's going to take care of the first project of our new park, right, Chad? Most of it. All right. He's always wanting more money. It don't matter. But he'll apply for it. And they have done a great job with grants. I don't even know how many grants they have been able to get. But, you know, a lot of this money is there, but it takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication to get those grants. Like I say, I know this grant was a book about that thick of forms and papers that was filled out and turned in over time. And so we are well pleased with that. And our manager, I know, is well pleased. He, it just does a fantastic job for the town. And I appreciate everybody that's worked on it. And then also, we got a press release here from Pender Education Partnership sponsor and the third annual State of Education Economy event. And let's see, Pender County Partnership, a nonprofit foundation established to enhance education opportunities and assist public school educators, will sponsor the third State of Education and Economy. This event is hosted by Salty Turtle in the Cove at 103 Triton Lane and Surf City, and it'll be on October the 21st. Doors open at 5 p.m. and program will begin at 5:30. So you are all welcome to attend that. Learn a lot about the education system here in Pender County and some of the work that they are doing, and then might even give you a chance to donate to it. You can't ever tell. So anyway, that's from the Pender Education Partnership. Thank you. Okay, now we got the Beautification and Appearance Committee Awards. Let's see, here they are. Okay, and once again, like I say, Jeremy's the liaison to this, and they're doing a good job. So anyway, the home of the month is Elizabeth Slasko. Did I say that right? Are they not here, so they can't correct me? But anyway, that's at 180 Axon Point Road. And we did go there the other day and took a picture, and they've got a beautiful place. They've done a lot of work on that yard and have got it. So if you get a chance to do it, go by and look at it. Again, that's 180 Axon Point Road. Okay, and the business of the month, I don't see anybody here from Surf Dogs, but they got the award for business of the month, and that's Surf Dog Bites and Brews with John and Suzanne Ray. So we want to thank them and appreciate them, and congratulations on them being the business of the month. Okay. We asked that all of you that's in attendance, and I'll check mine to make sure that your cell phones are off. Mine is. And because we know that it does, sometimes it just adds a little entertainment, but we don't really like the phones going off during the middle of the meeting. Okay, do I have a motion to, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, we voted on him, all right. Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
I make a motion, we adopt the agenda as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. I keep looking down that way and I forget there's nobody past you,
He's right there.
past you down there.
He said that.
He raised his
Yeah, I
hand right
see, I see it. I keep looking that way for you. So anyway, and so do we have an approval of the consent agenda?
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
A second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And okay, we do have a public hearing now. There she is, Miss Amy, if you'll come forward. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So
I make a
moved.
motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. Okay, all right, Miss Amy, turn it over to you.
Hi, how are y'all today?
Doing great.
Good. Glad y'all could make it. We are going to talk about the ordinance amendment conditional rezoning, which we talked about at our last work session. So as the town of Surf City continues to grow, development opportunities that are not clearly defined in the town ordinances arise. This often leads to staff, planning board, and council working to determine the best fit in an existing set of parameters. In recent years, municipalities across the state have begun using conditional rezoning as a tool to help allow unique development while continuing to uphold the spirit of the town ordinances. This tool allows the planning board and council to approve a rezoning based on a site plan. Though the site plan is not a final engineered plan, it has enough information to create the outline for the proposed project. If this project does not move forward in a set amount of time, the town will then revert to the original zoning or change to a more appropriate zoning. Any changes, significant changes to the site plan would also come back through planning board and council for their approval prior to those changes being allowed. In our business-oriented zoning, such as C1, C3, mixed use, neighborhood business, and office and institute, they all have allowed uses that may not be best suited for the surrounding areas, especially when they are against a residential use. C3 allows for gas stations and big box stores, as well as salons and barbershops. Though it might not be appropriate to put a big box store or a gas station adjacent to a residential district, a standalone beauty salon may be appropriate. This tool would allow the town to permit the salon without opening the opportunity for more intense uses in the future. This tool also allows the town and the developer to work together to eliminate potential areas of concern by discussing the site plan as a part of the approval. An example would be adding a more dense buffer between the residential and the commercial use. So provided in your packet is a text amendment that allows the conditional rezoning to become a part of our ordinance. Tonight, I am asking that you approve the ordinance as submitted.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any questions?
Well, we got a hearing first, right? Okay, does anybody in the audience would like to speak on this? They did a lot of work on this, and, you know, if this had been done years ago, which years ago we didn't see the problem that some of this was going to cause, then we may not have so few of the problems that we have now. So what they're saying is that now people can, you know, the zones are there, but if they decide to build something, then it still has to be approved, what they're doing. So that way you don't have a nightclub in the middle of a residential area. Right, Amy?
Correct.
You need to close the hearing too, Mayor.
Okay.
You need to go ahead and close the hearing.
Oh, yeah. Do I have a motion to close the hearing?
I make a motion, we close the hearing.
Do I have a second? All in favor, raise your hand. Okay. All right. Amy, you got anything else?
I do not. I just would like for y'all to approve it for me tonight.
All right. Does anybody on the board got anything? Everybody mighty quiet tonight.
I make a motion, we approve it.
Do what? You have a
I
motion?
make a motion that we approve
Do
the
I have a second?
amendment.
I second.
Okay. Got a second from the front over here. All right. All in favor, raise your hand. Motion approved. Thank you, Miss Amy. Appreciate it. Okay. Now we have public comment period. Do we have anybody that would love to speak during the comment time?
We have no signups, Mr. Mayor.
No signups. Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Manager, I'll turn it over to you for your report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good afternoon, council and citizens, residents, visitors in the audience. Just want to go through a couple items. Just as a reminder, November 8th will be our council retreat. We'll be talking about vision and mission statements, a year-end parking management overview, stormwater districts, an update on various sewer projects, departmental goals and status updates, and preliminary budget discussions and a financial overview. The fiscal year 2021 annual audit. So 2 weeks auditors were here to gather data for their fiscal year audit. Finance director and staff worked very hard to make sure that they had the information that they needed. And then also our finance director is moving towards our fiscal year closeout. On the topic of tax bills, Onslow County bills were mailed out approximately 2 weeks ago and are available online. Our Pender County bills are available online, and then plans are to have them mailed out within the next week out of our finance office. Mr. Mayor, you touched on it in your opening remarks with the letter from the state, but extremely proud. Last 2 weeks consecutive, town has received the positive news from grant funding agencies regarding the first phase of the Earl G. and Inez Batts Recreation Complex. The Parks and Recreation Trust Fund has awarded the town $500,000, and the Land and Water Conservation Fund, which you had just mentioned, has conditionally approved our application for another $500,000. The Parks Director will be completing the necessary documentation to move forward. With these awards, Mr. Mayor will be working with myself and the Finance Director to prepare the project budget. The next steps will include obtaining preliminary site plans to include grading so we can move forward towards construction of our first phase. So big hats off to Parks and Rec Department and a big thank you to the funding agencies because it is their foresight as well to set aside these monies for us to be able to apply for and put towards our community. The South Shore Stormwater Project, a letter of interest was submitted last Friday requesting funds through the FEMA BRIC program, and the BRIC stands for Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities. That letter of interest outlined the town's desire to continue working with NCDOT to implement the stormwater feasibility plan. The funding does require a local match of up to 30%. Which a great majority of that is identified through in-kind match, which when the town pursued the acquisition of those properties along South Shore, we can use that towards our match. So hopefully we can put those to work in two separate uses of stormwater collection as well as parking. So that'll be a good project, and I'll keep you updated as if we're invited to submit a formal application for the FEMA BRIC funding. And that amount is about $760,000. The vegetative debris pickup. So next week, our crews will start Monday. They will begin on the island. So that'll run from October 11th through the 15th. And then the following week, October 18th through the 22nd, they will move to the mainland to pick that up. So as a reminder, we did convert this from contracted services to in-house forces, and we'll be able to utilize the new chipper over on the very, I guess, eastern portion of the new park property to mulch that vegetative debris as we collect it. Our mobile application, so myself and our communications coordinator met with representatives of Rock Solid to start discussing the project. Overall, it is anticipated to be a 3-month-long project, looking at a potential release date just after the first of the calendar year, so sometime after January 1. Moving into shoreline and resiliency, our local committee has their next meeting next Thursday, October 14th. Another topic of resiliency, we had the opportunity, the mayor and town staff attended the NC Impact town hall meeting at UNCW. It was really just good to hear from community leaders on their efforts. This will be I guess a PBS broadcast in the coming weeks, but also to continue to build regional partners and further collaborate on state funding and regional projects, something that we really haven't had a great opportunity to do here in a recent year and a half with COVID protocols. So it was good to get out there and talk with some folks and some leaders in our region to help build that coalition really on resiliency projects for the future. The work will begin shortly on the Resilient Coastal Communities Program. The consultant has reached out to the committee to get consensus on dates for their kickoff meeting. As a reminder, representatives from the town include Councilwoman Batts, TISPC members David Ward and Hiram Williams, as well as a youth representative, Karina Shugarts, and citizen representative Heather Allen. So they'll be starting their work, their important work on that project, and staff will follow along with their guidance. Beach nourishment federal project, not a huge update here. We do continue to work with the Corps, although at this time they are working behind the scenes internally on the economic study and feasibility report, updating the costs and benefits of the project. I was notified yesterday that our project manager, Pam Castins, will be moving on from the Wilmington district, and a new project manager has been assigned to the Surf City project. In these discussions, and again, thank you, Mayor, for taking the lead on calling the Colonel and getting some response. They have committed to providing a presentation and update on the project at our December 7th meeting. So the Colonel and Chief will be in attendance to answer questions from council and the public. So we hope to really get some good information from them December 7th. Next item is our business registration program. So the town is set to go live with the program on October 11th, which is next Monday. Community development staff, Amy and Scott, as well as our communications coordinator, Misty, will be available to help people navigate the application process, which will all be online through our Viewpoint permitting platform. So we will send information out later on this week, getting them geared up. And that will be a prorated rate for the fiscal year, because we were unable to implement this July 1. I want to give you just a quick update. Senate Bill 300, which is recent legislation that became effective October 1st, provided requirements to local law enforcement departments addressing use of force policies, whistleblower policies, diversity training, and limitations on certain criminal citation abilities on local ordinance violations. The chief, captain, and I sat down to review Surf City's policies and reporting requirements in place in comparison to the new law. I'm thrilled and happy to report the department is in good shape, and would venture to say that we are probably some of the leaders in our area to document these items. Further, we reviewed the policies with legal counsel, and I think we're all in consensus that we are in good shape. So these are policies that did not require any sort of reactive measures from the General Assembly. This is something that our police department has had in place and that they follow. So again, thank you, Chief, and thank Captain Johnson again for your work. And then lastly, I do have just some reminders, special events, Ocean Fest is this Friday evening and Saturday. And then the Surf City Fall Festival is coming up October 23rd at Soundside Park, which will highlight some family fun activities, including inflatables, food vendors, and the North Tower Band will be playing on center stage from 4 to 6 p.m. So with that, Mr. Mayor and Council, that's my update to you and to the citizens.
We thank you. And we thank you. We appreciate everybody that's working on all that stuff. Like I say, I think we're very fortunate to have the people that work for our town that puts a lot of effort in to doing all the work that is being done in the town. They're not just sitting around, I can tell you that. They are working all the time, and we appreciate that. The board greatly appreciates it. And Kyle, we certainly appreciate the work that you do as well. Because you keep them going, keep them straight, keep them on something.
They have to. So.
Yeah. But we appreciate it. And so anyway, it's right now, we're gonna get a report or find out what each one of the councilmen want to do. And we'll start with Mr. Sugart.
I do not have a report today. Thank you very much.
You don't?
I do not. Kyle sums it all up for us. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure. No,
Pretty good.
Yeah,
That's
appreciate it. Thank you, though.
Yeah.
Everything's great. Yep.
Big Don.
I just want to thank everybody that came today. And we've had a rather busy fall so far, but it's been good weather, and I just hope everybody has a very great weekend, and we will see you back here. When is it? And we have our third week. We have our retreat, not the treat, but the
We have a work session on the
work session
15th.
on the 15th. So, thank you. That's all I got.
That's all. Okay, now, I said Big Don. Now, I won't say Little Teresa, but Miss Council Lady Teresa.
Thank you. I want to say welcome to Carla. We're glad that she's up here sitting with us tonight. If y'all haven't met her, she's our new clerk. Her first meeting, so glad she's here. Also wanted to say thank you to, I think Misty was the one that had put out the survey, had extended the survey, and we got a huge response after Wes spoke. It increased over 1,000 in just a couple of days to our survey that we had out. So increased communication is always what our citizens like to see, and so we appreciate all that you do and all that all the departments do, and our staff. So that pretty much sums it up for me.
That it? Okay. Mr. Bay.
Thank you, Mayor. I too would like to welcome Carla. It's glad to have a hometown girl come back and represent the town and work with the town and the board, and we're certainly delighted and glad to have her. And with the grants we've got, I can't say enough about the leadership and direction from Chad Merritt from the Parks and Recreation Department and his board of directors who have carried out the vision. This board, working with the board, they had a vision for recreation in the town of Surf City years ago, and we've kept that vision alive and kept it moving forward. And Chad came in and he kind of supercharged it a little bit, which was greatly needed and greatly appreciated. And they're working hard and have worked hard and will continue to work hard on bringing the parks to the fruition and the vision, satisfying the vision that the board and the town had for Parks and Rec. And we all want to get it accomplished without taxpayers having to pay the bill. That's what it's basically all about. And they've done a masterful job in doing that. I just want to congratulate all of them that work with that. One of the other things, it's good to see David and Patty Gilbright back out. Missed them a little while. Coming back to the meetings. And as far as our town staff, you've heard me say it many times, we have a wonderful staff from the manager on down. And we're delighted now to have Carla come back in and locally on helping out our board. Our people go above and beyond from what I've been able to gather. There's always positive comments out in the community. Keep them coming. And if you have some negative comments, bring those too so we can correct them. But thank you for all that you do, and thank you for those that are coming here tonight and those that's going to attend our other meetings. That's all I got.
Councilman Torres, are you there?
I'm there. Can you hear me, Mayor?
I can hear you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to participate in today's meeting remotely. The reason for the lack of video at this point, it was just too much background noise, so I had to move. But as already mentioned, I'd like to also give a special thank you to Chad and the entire team at Parks and Recreation for their efforts in obtaining the grants for our new park and recreation complex. Also, I'd like to thank the mayor, my colleagues, and the entire town staff for working hard every day. to improve the community and the quality of lives of all of our residents, to include our visitors. But also ask everyone to continue to hold Sally Edens in your prayers. Lastly, thank you to all who are in attendance today, both in person and online. And as a reminder, I'm available anytime. Please contact me by phone or by email. With that said, Mayor, God bless everyone and good night.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. So, like I say, Carla fitted right in. You know, we feel like a family here anyway, because we have all gotten along so well together. And it's always been sort of like a family, hasn't it, buddy?
Absolutely.
And Carla's been around a long time. Most of us knew her when she was just a little baby. But anyway, she grew up, and so she is fitting in well. And from what I can see, she's catching on mighty fast. Now, she's got a big job to fill those shoes, but I think she's working well at it and catching on fast. So we do appreciate what you do, Carla. Thank you a lot. And I thank the town, Chad, the manager, and everybody else that worked on all those grants, because that is really a big plus, because those grants, if you figured out how much tax would have to be brought into the town to pay those grants, I mean, it really would put a big burden on everybody in the town. So we do appreciate that. Thank you a lot. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over right now to our attorney.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'd like to hand down a letter that was sent by the president of the League of Municipalities to the governor. If you recall, during last month's attorney's report, discussed at least the House budget bill that had 6 items that affect and limit, if passed, local government's ability to regulate certain things: billboards, stormwater, the placements of schools, trees, short-term rentals, and small cell wireless. The letter is written by Mayor Karen Alexander from Salisbury. She's the president of the league, the sitting president now. I just thought on the second page, she did a nice job encapsulating the concern from the local government level. Apparently, the General Assembly is, in a novel way, approaching the governor with a proposed budget before they vote on it, in an effort to work out any kinks to avoid a veto. This letter was sent on behalf of the league to the governor as he considers the budget proposed to him by the House and the General Assembly. So unless there's any questions on that, the next item I'd like to report. Nationally, several states and large cities sued 3 of the largest opioid drug suppliers. There's a tentative settlement of $22.7 billion to be paid out over time. North Carolina, as it sits now, is estimated to get $750 million of that. That money is largely going to each county, but there are 17 larger cities that are getting a portion of that settlement proceed as well. The league is asking all cities and towns to join in. You have to, unlike a normal class action where you opt out of the class, this is a opt in to the class. We have until January 1st of 2022 to opt in. The more participation we have, the larger that $750 million estimate will be. It won't come directly to the town's coffers, but given the carnage, the opioid crisis, and the damage it's caused, I think the more money we can get, that money is earmarked for treatment type programs. And I think the more money North Carolina can get as a whole, the better. So I'm going to work with Kyle on the opt-in process. I don't think we need a vote, but is there a consensus that we opt in? I don't see a downside for it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And
Pender County will probably get some of it, right?
yes, sir.
We may not get any as a municipalities.
Right.
But the counties.
It's my understanding, there's about a 30-page memorandum of understanding that the Attorney General put out. Every county will get something.
Right.
And 17 cities will get something. The amount is going to be a sliding scale depending on a myriad of factors, but the number of cities that participate in each county is one of those factors.
Right.
So, and then lastly, we approved the clerk contract last month, subject to our review. Kyle and I finalized that, and I don't know when it was written, but it wasn't written anytime recently. But it's we finalized that, and so welcome aboard. And that concludes my report. Thank you, sir.
That it?
Yes.
Okay. I just appreciate everybody that's here today. I appreciate all the work. And I think our town is running very smooth. And like Kyle mentioned, that we are going to have the people from the Corps here, the meeting in December. So hopefully they'll have a little more explanation of what's going on. Of course, most of you know that we had a holdup in our beach nourishment project. It was a combined project with North Topsail, and North Topsail had to pull out of it. So it put a lot of work having to readjust a lot of numbers on that project. So therefore, it's going to keep us from being able to go forward with that project this year. We were supposed to have gone forward with it this fall, but probably going to look more like next fall before we're able to do anything. Now, Kyle and I talked about it a little bit. I think he wants to maybe do some sand fencing and some planting on the dunes to try to build them up some for the time being, right?
Yes, sir. I'll meet with some plant providers next week and start talking with our shoreline committee next week as well.
Right. So anyway, look forward to that coming. And keep in mind our meeting the 1st of December. And y'all come that's here and invite other people. I know David, and we'll be able to get hold of a lot of people to come. So, invite people that are interested in our beach to come so that they can participate in it. And let the people see how much interest we do have in rebuilding our beach. So maybe push them along a little bit. But anyway, I think they're working hard for us. I was beginning to get a little bit worried. And but after talking with them today, talked with the colonel and with Bob Kiesler, I think we're in a lot better position than what I thought we were. So we'll look forward to hearing from them first of December. So I appreciate it. That's all I have, and if nobody else has anything else, I'll ask for a motion.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, we are adjourned.